Especially once, I think.
Really?
Yeah, on the hallway, I saw this white mist real quick travel into the wall of 309, which is right next to 311. And the white mist, I think it was the hem of her dress, because she's known to be the lady in white around the hotel.
Wow.
Now, another guest, I'm not a guest, sorry, but a guest told me just like it was a few weeks ago when I told them that story about the white mist. She said to her husband, "Wasn't I telling you that I saw this white dress or something go around the corner?" And he was saying, "Yeah, that's what she's been telling me all day. That she saw this white mist or white dress or something."
That's so
And
cool.
I know. But and then a third story actually to tell you about that is hello. Is is what was it? Sorry, just got distracted. Annalise and Netherly. I just forgot what it was. I was going to tell you. It was a third story. I forget, but I'll think of it. But there's another story out there that was just very similar to what I was just telling you about the Annalise. Oh, I remember what it was. The one of our in-room dining ladies told me that she saw the lady in white every once in a while when she was delivering food to different rooms. And I told her, "Do you know who that is?" She said, "No, who's that? I mean, what ghost is that?" And I said, "That's probably Annalise Netherly, our ghost in 311. And she's like, "Oh." Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
But anyway,
That's crazy.
yeah. So that's the kind of Crutchfield built the Crutchfield house on this property. It was a hotel to start with, and it quickly became a center of hospitality here in the South. It was taken over, commandeered by the Union troops to be a Civil War hospital in 1863, though. So September 20th of 1863, for instance, we took in 500 wounded soldiers all in that one day.
Wow.
Now that was the last day of the Battle of Chickamauga, happens to have been. So Battle of Chickamauga was a nearby battle and one of the bloodiest of the Civil War. So probably those wounded troops, those 500, came from Chickamauga battlefield.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna head out there in the morning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, it's a beautiful, now it's a beautiful place. It wasn't back in the 1860s. It was a bunch of carnage.
Right.
But, 1863, ending September 20th. So I guess it'd be 18th through 20th, 19th, 20th, something like that. Anyway, 1867, 2 years after the Civil War ended, the Crutchfield house burned to the ground. It was a lantern fire caused by a little boy, probably about your size, sir. He accidentally knocked over a lantern in the oil room downstairs, and it caused the 3-story building made of wood to burn to the ground. That was sad, but the property was sold to John Reed. John Reed saw that the hotel was rebuilt, and it became the Reed House once it was rebuilt. Another 3-story Reed House this time. So the Reed House was born in 1872, 151 years ago. So we're the longest continuously operating hotel in the Southeast.
Yeah, I saw that on that side of the building. That's really neat.
1926, this 10-story building was built. 1976, we were put on the National Register of Historic Places. So we're on the map with the U.S. government. As far as they're concerned, this building can't be demolished. And the facade, the outside, the look of it has to remain the same as well. That's our ice machine done. I have a key, though. Young man, would you help me find this room?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
What's the number on the key?
That's how we have to find it. Okay. You gonna help me? I'll let you open the door. I'll unlock it, okay? But I'll let you open it, okay? But 2018, we renovated with a $27 million renovation. This side in particular got most of that attention. At that time, we kept Suite 311 as it would have been in the Roaring 20s, the 1920s. That was in order to accommodate our permanent guests without reference to anyone else's comfort. So without further ado, go ahead. Welcome to the early 20th century.
Oh, that is so cool. Wow.
So upon entering this room, a lot of people noticed the double-bladed fan. It puts out a lot of air for two blades up here. It would have been important in the Roaring 20s because we got central air conditioning in 1953, 30 years later. All this furniture also is from the time period of the Roaring 20s, 1920s. I believe they probably reupholstered these chairs, but the chairs themselves are from the 1920s. And then, what am I trying to say? Including this hall tree over here. But this hall tree, however, has the distinction, we think, of having been here original to the room. So this mirror has seen a lot through the years, in other words. So you've also got a rotary phone here with room service and housekeeping on this switch, I'm told. This rotary phone, this is a real phone. This is how phones used to work, sir. And what you do is you listen to it here and put this by your mouth and talk like that. And this one's a real phone, but it's not on the phone line currently. That one back there is on the phone line though. Because we have to have a working phone in every suite. So this one has a dial tone. If you want to, anyone wants to hear the dial tone, they can, for the first time, they can hear that. You want to hear it?
You know what a dial tone
Is that a radio?
Yeah, it's a vacuum tube radio. Yes, ma'am.
You know, the other night we were walking past and he put his ear to the door
Yeah.
and he said it sounded like static from like a radio or something in here.
In this store?
Yeah. Was it last night? Literally. It was like probably like just before midnight. And we're creeping around.
That
and,
is creepy.
Yeah, and he goes, I don't know if I'm freaking myself out right now, but it sounds like static in this room.
That's wild because what I've heard about this radio is that sometimes people will hear like old 1920s music that Annalisa would have liked
Yeah.
on this break
Really?
through when they're like listening to their music on this radio. Her music breaks through sometimes.
Wow. That's crazy.
And so that doesn't surprise me what he discovered there. But yeah, so the vacuum tube radio, and then also an ashtray, as would have been throughout the hotel, of course, at the time.
Right.
And come on in here, I'll show you a few other things, guys, and we'll also discuss the legend of Annalisa Netherly as well.
Annalisa.
Yeah. That's a chest for clothing.
Wow, that's old.
Yeah, it is. And then this is a little bit newer, I think. Well, maybe that's super old though. This would be 1920s-esque. That'd be probably what, 1800s maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and then upon entering this room, a lot of people noticed the bars on the windows. The bars actually have a history behind them.
Is that the Al Capone?
Yes, but also there's more to it than that even.
Ooh.
But yes, Al Capone needed these bars when he stayed here, so he stayed in this room. So, but there was a time when actually some of our guests would climb out of their lower story windows, hop on the Union Station train across the street from us, bypass the front desk, and not pay their bill.
Oh.
So we put bars on our bottom 3 floors in order to prevent that from happening.
Wow.
Now, fire code came in and told us you can't trap people in a hotel. It's a fire hazard. So we took all the bars back down, except for this room. And apparently, in 1931, we had an infamous criminal stay at the Reed House who needed bars on his windows. This is Al Capone. This is where Al Capone comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Al Capone, usually you think of a criminal as someone you put in the dungeon, perhaps. But Al Capone was Al Capone, so he got a nice sweet 311 with bars on his windows, and I'm told we had guards out here on the roof. I don't know how many, but there's some guards out here on the roof, and then that would be in order to keep him in, but also to protect him because the man had enemies.
Right.
I will say, though, I think it's ironic that they put a murderer like Capone in the same room.
I know. I was like, what a coincidence, huh?
Yeah. So that was 1931 that he was here. 4 years earlier, 1927, is when Annalisa Netherly's story begins in Suite 311. So in 1927, Annalisa Netherly was a San Franciscan. She was a pretty young lady, probably in her early 20s, married. Her husband was on a long business trip. He had left her here probably with a lot of money on extended stay. And I can fly as high as you want me to go on this, as far as we can make this even like a PG rating if you wish.
No, that's fine.
Just say it how I usually say it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We want all the details.
Okay. I just wanted absolutely. So Annalisa Netherly, left alone with lots of time on her hands, spacious room, lots of money. She probably got a little bored. A little ennui set in, and she went downstairs to the bar and billiards, where there's a bar and billiards down there, as you might have noticed when you walked in today. I think you guys came in today, right?
Yesterday.
Yeah,
Yesterday. Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yes, I know I've seen you. I just forgot which day. But so in bar and billiards, she would have been there. Found some handsome young gentlemen playing billiards down there, and well, sparks flew. Chemistry happened. Miss Netherly apparently cheated on Mr. Netherly several times while at the Reed House. So Mr. Netherly, the shrewd businessman that he was, however, had contacts in Chattanooga, keeping an eye on her. So he found out. He was incensed. He came back to Chattanooga, found the Reed House, located her room, barged in. She was bathing at the time. Come on in here if you wish. So she was bathing. He took a straight razor off the counter and slit her throat. Cut her head almost completely off, actually. Housekeeping found her a few days later. It was a nasty surprise. That's why we're not surprised, however, if Annalisa Netherly continues to haunt this Suite 311. So that's her story. Feel free to take any pictures. Just know that Annalisa has been known to photobomb pictures from time to time.
That'd be awesome.
I hope so.
Wow.
That's a crazy looking toilet.
I
Yeah.
got goosebumps.
You want to flush that? You can if you pull it down.
That's very weird, though.
Isn't it weird? You want me to do it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, here we go. Bombs away!
Isn't that neat?
It is. Cool.
That's really on.
But I will say she doesn't like men. The ghost doesn't like men, apparently, and men who smoke in particular. She doesn't seem to like. I can tell you a few stories of guests who have tried to stay here overnight. This was in October. So if you wish, I can tell you about. Yeah, near Halloween. If you wish, I can tell you about that.
Sure.
So yes, so Halloween, In October, it's $666 leading up to Halloween, and then $999 on Halloween itself. At least that's how it's been. I think they're raising the price this year.
Hmm.
And the guests who stay there, or try to stay here, don't often make it through the night.
Really?
Yeah. So one guy, for instance, was on the bed out here. He was laying on the bed. He felt his wife sit by his feet at the foot of the bed. He looked up to find her, and she wasn't there. His wife wasn't there at all. It was, I guess, Annalisa. So, and then another couple made it through the night. Surprisingly, they don't often make it through the night. But they couldn't sleep all night because they thought there was a figure in that corner over there observing them all night.
Wow.
The scariest story I can tell you, though, is Halloween of 2020. Halloween of 2020, they paid their $999 plus tax and didn't make it past midnight. So, let's see. The lady, the woman of the couple, it was a couple, she called the front desk and said, I need out of this room. I've never seen him like this. I need another room. Talking about her husband. Dennis, the night auditor who had answered the phone, called Dylan and Lisa up here, 2 food and beverage managers at the time. Now Dylan is the one I heard this from. And Dylan is currently a server at Bridgman's. I just spoke with him a few minutes ago. He's downstairs right now. So you could ask him. He might turn pale when he tells you this story, but he could verify this. But when Dylan came up here, the guy of the couple, the man, he was on the floor. He had been drinking. He was on the floor, but he was shaking and cursing everybody in the room with a dark voice. And according to Dylan, the guy was possessed. So it sounds like it to me too, actually. So they moved them to another room where the guests. I mean, because we always leave a room open for guests who try to stay in 311 in case they can't make it through the night. And they went to another room. I'm not sure what happened to this couple after that, but hopefully they were okay. But that's the scariest story that I know of.
So how far ahead you gotta book this room?
Well, it's only.
That horse picture's really good. And off on their right, just the coffee house and stuff. See?
Oh, that's that work.
The what?
Go scary boy. Mr. Reed.
Oh, look. Look your finger. Look at the circle.
So we go like 3 and then 4.
Okay.
Adventures begin.
It's probably the ice maker.
Don't knock on it. Except for the 400 on seashore.
Where are you?